So welcome to today's new in BindTuning webinar. We will give you a sneak peek of our soon to be released Microsoft Teams offering. A few housekeeping notes before we get started. Use the questions bubble to write in any questions. We will be answering all of the questions you may have at the end of the webinar. And also this webinar is going to be recorded, so you'll be receiving an email in the next few days. So let's get started. We have a great panel with us. We have João, which is the SharePoint team lead at BindTuning, and also me, which I am the digital marketing specialist here at BindTuning. So here's what we are showing today. BindTuning for Microsoft Teams, BindTuning templates for Microsoft Teams, and how easily these templates can be deployed with our provisioning engine. So if you're like me, I can be the most unorganized person in the planet, but I can always find my way around. The problem is that it takes me too much time to find anything, really. But now let's say you are actually an organized person, but all of your tools, resources, contacts, and way of communicating are all over the place. That means efficiency in completing any task gets way harder. And this is probably happening with your colleagues, teams, and also your workforce. But here is what we have for you. It's actually everything you need for a truly unified workplace. You can create richly branded internet experiences loaded with features in SharePoint, Office 365, and now Microsoft Teams. It's really a powerful boost for information sharing, your teamwork, and productivity. You can bring the data your workforce is already consuming to your workplace, including social media feeds, YouTube videos, and also functionality they need to get stuff done, like organized links, filters, colorful tiles, and calendars. Everything in one unified experience. And soon accessible where they spend the bulk of their workday, which is Microsoft Teams. So instead of settling for what you get out of the box, you can really craft the user experience with the functionality that truly meets your workforce needs. SharePoint, Office 365, and now Microsoft Teams are simply better together when you include BindTuning in the mix. João will give you a sneak peek of our new offering for Microsoft Teams, and we'll show you how you can build a unified internet experience.
And I'm ready to show you how things look like with BindTuning Webparts inside of Microsoft Teams. So BindTuning Webparts will be the same ones that you are used to use on SharePoint, but they will include support for Microsoft Teams. So they will be installed on SharePoint Online. And once you install them on SharePoint Online, you are automatically making them available as well for your teams to use. If you are asking yourself why BindTuning is bringing an advantage and why BindTuning is creating value with the web parts when Microsoft has already so many web parts available for modern SharePoint, this is one of the reasons why we are still building new web parts. We are always trying to create new functionalities that do not exist by default on SharePoint, and now we are also bringing the same functionalities to Microsoft Teams where the default SharePoint web parts are not available. So better than talking is seeing how things look like. So I will expand here my SharePoint conference channel that it's basically one of the templates we have available. This is actually a template where I have already a predefined set of tabs with our web parts inside of them. And everything you see here, it's actually hosted on SharePoint. Behind each team, there is a SharePoint site collection, and that is the perfect place to store all the information you display here. For your end users, it doesn't matter if the information is on SharePoint or if it's somewhere else. They will interact interact with it directly from the Microsoft Teams app. So let's say that you want to add a new app to your SharePoint. Let's say that you want to create a new alert section to your Microsoft Teams team. The only thing you have to do is type BindTuning. This will show you all the web parts that we have available for Teams. This is not showing all the 19 web parts, but we will release all the 19 web parts for Microsoft Teams as well. So what I need to do now to create an alert is to select the alerts, wait for the Microsoft Teams logo to show up here. And once it shows, I just have to click save. In this now has the web part created. And if you are familiar with the modern experience on SharePoint, this is exactly the same property pane you are used to have on modern pages. So I need to connect this to a new list. So I will create a new list. And this will be immediately connected to the web part. So I'm now ready to start creating notifications where I can take fully advantage of everything that I have configured on my SharePoint site, including the groups that are available there. So if I create here this alert, let's define it with a success. Let's preview how things look like. That's fine. Let's close, continue editing, and let's save it. So now I have an alert created that every single user that access to this tab will be able to see. If you want to then rename this, you can also do it by going to the arrow next to the tab and renaming it. And this is how you will be able to create content for every single web part that we have. All the web parts that get data from outside of SharePoint, from external services like the social web part and the stock sticker will work exactly the same way. You will have to connect the web parts to the APIs and set up the web parts through the settings, and everything will be then displayed here. And once you have the web part edited here, it will work as a native app inside of Teams. It will, if your users resize the browser, the web part will be resized according with the window. So everything will be perfectly adjusted. And the same thing works for the themes that your user can apply. So if your users are mostly using the dark theme, the web part will also adjust the colors and the text to make sure that everything is still readable in the dark version of Microsoft Teams. So this is how you can do it manually with BindTuning. We are always trying to automate all the deployment processes to save you time and to help you with the adoption of Microsoft products. With our provisioning engine, you will also be able to deploy entire team scenarios. We have all our SharePoint templates now available for free. You can use them to start your internet projects without purchasing them. And we will have soon templates for Microsoft Teams as well. We have here at the top two different templates. We have the marketing template where we have a preview of the social hub. It will install a lot of, it will create a lot of tabs, and it will create two different channels inside of the team, and it will also install a few of our web parts. And here we have a template for an iSchool where we have the alerts, the image gallery, people, news, and social web part. And again, all the channels that will be created and all the tabs that will be also added. So to create something like this, You just have to go through our installation process. You have to provide a name for your team, and this team will be called Demo Live Teams. This it's optional, and then you have to create the email that will be used by this team. So Demo Live Team. Click on Next. Accept that a new team will be created, that the email will be this one. By default, the channels, the teams are private, and click on Apply. This will then download the template from BindTuning. I just have to authenticate on this other tenant where I'm connected to. And we'll start the deployment. While this is doing the deployment, let me go back here and let me show you how a few of the other web parts that we have here look like once you have everything configured. This is the new web part that we will release next week, our image gallery. You can preview everything that it's displayed inside of the Microsoft Teams, and you will be able basically to do all your daily tasks without leaving Microsoft Teams. So while working, you still be able to chat with your colleagues, and SharePoint will be there as your intranet and will be there for you to use as well. But the same experience will be provided on both platforms. So with this said, it's time to move on to the Q&A.
We have Robert asking, I assume functionality is the same in the desktop Teams app.
Yes, so the functionality will be exactly the same if you are on the desktop app or if you are on the mobile version of Microsoft Teams.
We have another question from Robert. Will the Teams piece come as a separate subscription from current SharePoint subscription, or will be bundled in?
The web parts will be added to your existing subscription. So on the next version of our web parts, you will find a new folder inside of the package that will allow you to install the Teams version of the web parts. And Clutch will also support the installation of the web parts directly on the Office 365.
Also, how does licensing work for this?
It will be added to your existing license, so you don't have to pay an extra for the web parts. The plan you have will be the same plan that will be used for this.
Also, Jerry is asking, is this also on mobile and web app?
On mobile, if you are talking about the mobile app of Microsoft Teams, this is not yet available. And that's because the custom tabs are not yet available on the mobile app of Microsoft Teams. Some of the default apps are available, but the custom ones are never displayed. On the web version of Microsoft Teams, everything will work as it does on the desktop app.
Also, Kevin is asking, when using Clutch, does it provision both Teams and SharePoint at the same time?
Yes, when using Clutch, it will provisioning everything at the same time. But to do that, you will have to deploy the apps globally to the tenant app catalog to make use of the feature that deploys the actual web parts to Microsoft Teams.
I don't think we have any more questions yet, but if you do, please use the questions bubble. Saul is also asking, how will the caching be handled on Teams?
And we will use the same cache mechanisms that we've implemented for SharePoint pages. And basically, we will save the content on the page or on the local storage of the Teams app. So you will be able to get the information available immediately when the user opens the app without querying SharePoint.
And thank you for attending today's session and for joining us as we give you a sneak peek of our Microsoft Teams offering. And we'll have news and updates on this new offering in the next few days. Thank you.